Good evening and welcome to our live crafting session this evening. It's Tuesday the 11th of July already, and my name's Jenny McCormack. I am an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator and I'm based in the market town of Brackley, which is in Northamptonshire here in the UK. Thank you so much for joining us for our live crafting session this evening. I go live 4 days a week, Mondays and Wednesdays, typically at 10 o'clock in the morning here in the UK, and Tuesdays and Thursdays typically at 7 p.m. in the evening, and again that's UK time. So this week our stamp set of the week is Let's Go Shopping, and from that we created, I can't remember which one it was, whether it was this one, I think it was, yeah, I think it was this one, oh dear, that we created yesterday. But it's a fun stamp set that features shops. Now I wasn't quite sure how popular this would be. I did think about doing it for a class, but I wasn't sure how many people would actually like the papers and the design. Turns out it's more popular than I expected, which is great, but I've done it as a coffee and card design. So this is my stamp set of the week. So if you purchase the stamp set, the bundle, then during this week up to and including Sunday, then I will send you a pack of all the components that I've used for the live crafting session. So you'll get the card bases, you'll get the layers, you'll get the white layer and the backgrounds, and in this case, because we're introducing the papers, you will get some of the cut-out elements from the papers as well. And we've had great fun with this. So we started at Coffee and Card on Friday, and we continued on that with that on Monday and today. And let me just quickly show you some of the cards. Today we're going to use the papers, and there's a mix of papers in there. 3 of them have different shop designs on them. Perfect if you know people who like shopping or go to shops, and there's all sorts of different ones. So there's a book shop, there's a clothes shop, there's a bakery, there's a sweet shop, there's a florist, all sorts of things. So using the stamp set, we created this one. This is the bakery. If I just lift that up, hopefully you can see that. So this has all been stamped, this whole panel here, and coloured in. And the bottom floor is this element here, and then you can stack these up as you will see. So this is what we created on Monday, and then I've got variations of that. So this is a similar one that I did at Coffee and Card. I've done this one at Coffee and Card, so I've done this as the cafe, and I've stacked 2 layers up. And on this one I've used the lights in the upstairs windows as well, and the little table and chairs. Hopefully you can see that. It's quite difficult on a small video, and if you're watching on your phone I'm afraid it's even smaller, but you can watch this later on YouTube if you want. And then I've cut out this little A board, little sign, and popped that on the front. And then some other variations. This one I just put together really quickly using some of the papers, just layering those up, and then stamped this in the background. And then finally this one uses some of the dies. So this lamppost here is created with the coordinating dies. There's lamppost and there's a bench, and the dies also cut out the elements obviously of the shop, also cuts out the lights, the flower pot, the A-frame, and quite a few other bits and pieces. So I just added those two in there just to sort of fill that out. It looked a bit bare on the side. And obviously you can add your own colours for those. So I thought today we would introduce the papers. So it's a set of 12 by 12 inch papers. There's 2 of each sheet, and you can't, well, you can just about see the whole sheet here, but they are repeated. So on this particular sheet we've got the florist, we've got this could be any store really, it's got little window boxes up above, we've got a bookshop. That's it on this one, so there's repeats of those. I'll show you the backs in a second. Then we have this one, so this has got a bakery, it's got a sort of pasta place, we've got ice creams on here, that's that one, and we've got the little A board there, signboard. And then this one has got a clothes shop, it's got an arts and crafts shop with the little silhouettes in the background. I know you can't see those particularly well. And then we've got this little one here, which could be a Chinese, it's got like little Chinese lanterns up on the outside. So there's those. And then we have this one which has got tiny renditions of those. Really almost too small for you to see there, I appreciate that. And then we've got this one which has got bakery items. So we've got ice cream cone with fills in, we've got bread, we've got forks, little ice cream cones, and then little bowls of food. And finally we've got this one which has got books, tubes of paint, and then it's got some flowers as well. Let me show you the reverse, and then we'll get on and make a card. So some nice backgrounds here. It's got a little bit of sort of vintage effect on it, so it's not completely solid. It's got some interesting elements to it. Got this one with the all over design, this one with that lovely blue combination. This is one of my favourites, and actually gave me an idea for something else, which was to create this sort of thing but to make it look like some plans. So if you've got any architects or people like that doing that, stamping it in navy on blue or navy on grey to make it look like it was some plans. But you could literally chop these up and make 6 cards just like so. Then we've got this one with the interesting sort of mosaic tiles, and then finally this one with the crisscross in that lovely yellow. Now the colours don't do this justice. I can see the colours on my computer and they look quite different to the real life colours. So what I'm going to do for this one is I'm going to use a basic layer of white card, and then I'm going to cut 2 or 3 of the shops and have one in the centre and then one each on either side of that. And what's really good is where you've got these that are off the edge, you can use that on the edge of your card. So don't feel that you can't use these, for example. You can just go ahead, and the same, not so much the same with the ones that cut off at the bottom, but any on the left or the right. So let's I've got some sheets already cut for copying card, if I can find them. And hopefully there's some in here that I can use, only so I'm not cutting into my new sheets. Hi Linda, hi Angela. I hope you are both well. Okay, I need to show this one to Linda. This is the one that I finished from this morning, and I added those lampposts in that I mentioned in Coffee and Cars. Okay, so I'm just going to pick some of these out, and let's see, so I could have this one in the middle and then just choose one to the left and one to the right. So this would work for on the left hand side, or this one, either of those. And then if I find one that's cut off on the right hand side, I can use those. Now I don't know about the scale, so what I'm going to do is cut these up and have a look, see whether they will work. And I want to try out a new tool, and that is, you may have seen me use our Take Your Pick tool that has putty on one end for picking up sequins, and then it has a pokey tool at the other end. And these blades and nibs are interchangeable, so you've got different ones on each one. And there's a new pack that comes that includes a knife, a craft knife. So I'm going to give it a go using that. Now this takes standard craft blades, and it's been a while, but I managed to find my cutting mat. This is very old and ancient, but I don't really want to cut into my table surface, and I just want to see how I get on with this knife. And the other thing that's new, it comes with 4 different blades, is a perforating tool. So if you want to make an RSVP that you want to tear off, it now has this option for a perforating tool. It's got a little cover to protect you, and you can just literally run that along. It's a bit like a pastry thing. I'm trying to think what it's called, pastry cutter I suppose. So it's got serrated edges, and you can just draw it along your piece of card. The card will stay together, but you can tear it off. So I'll be using that at a future date, but I just want to see how I get on with this knife. Normally I would use scissors, but I just want to give it a go and see how we get on. So I don't know which ones of these I'm going to use, so let's just see. So you could use a ruler if you're not very confident in cutting. But this is a lot easier than scissors, that's for sure. Now I'm not going to worry about this fancy edge because I'm lazy like that. I'm just going to literally cut that off. So far so good. Obviously if you've got an existing craft knife you can use that anyway. There we go. So there's one that I can use on the left hand side of my panel if I wish, like so. And I'm going to add in the sky and the trees like I did previously. And then let's see what else we can fit in. So if I cut one of these two, let's cut this one here, although it's cut off at the top, isn't it? So let's cut this one. Now, as I say, you could use a ruler to help you if you wished. I would recommend using a ruler that has a metal edge so you don't cut into the ruler. But if you've got a reasonably steady hand, that will definitely do the job. Okay, so that could be my shop on the right hand side. And then I've got a choice. I've got a bakery here, and I've got this tall one here. Let's try this one. It's like a two-story building. So just bring this down. Now the dies cut out the stamped building, but I don't think, from looking at it, they cut out the buildings on the papers. They cut out some of the flower pots and things like that, but not the buildings. I think somebody asked me that and I said they did, but because the buildings are all different shapes, there we go. So we'll cut this one out and see. If it's too big, not to worry. Just cut that straight down there. Like that. So I'm just going to go around there, like so. And I'm right-handed, so I'm just drawing the knife blade down from the top to the right, and I tend to do the same direction all the time and then cut the other direction rather than keep turning it round. That's just the way that I like to do it. Okay, so that came out nice and easily. Got a little bit of white there, let's just trim that off. So let's have a look and see. So this one can go here, and we can put these right on the bottom if we don't want to worry about anything there, and we can put pots and things in between. So that will fit on there. I thought it might have been a little bit too tall. And those will fit on there. So the only thing I'm deliberating is whether to use a different one here. This is a clothes shop, which makes it a little bit more obvious what it is. So just try this. There we go. So there's that one. I've got that one. And then I've either got this one, or let's see what else I've got. Got this one here. But the top is cut off, isn't it? And the top's cut off that one. So I might stick with that, but let me just have a quick look and see what else I've got. I don't want to cut and have half of one. Just want to see what I've got that I could use. See, that would also work on the edge. So don't ever throw the edge ones away. You can help it. Those are all left-handed ones. So I'm going to leave it like that. Use that one that I've got there. Okay. And then what you can do obviously is just cut these small elements up and keep them in an envelope or a packet. And the die would cut out this set here, and also the little A-frame sign. Hi Carol, thanks for joining us. I don't know if you've had a play with this set or not, so I'm just using the papers today. So I am going to use a ruler and just get that nice and straight. I can see I've gone a little bit wonky. There we go. Oh, I've made that worse now. Right, I'm going to trim that with my trimmer because I don't want it wonky to start with. So we're just using the papers today, Carol. Well, we use a little bit of the stamps, but mainly the papers. Just going to line this up on here. And then I'm going to decorate the top the same as I did here with the sky and some foliage around the top, just to give it a little bit of interest. And then I'll probably stamp the board and stuff as well. Now you could put these onto card. So if I was doing that and I wanted it 3D, I would, because this is paper, I would just put it onto some thin basic white card and then cut it out together, rather than having cut it out then put it on card and cut it out again, if that makes sense. So this one is going to go here, this one, and then this one I've got here. This is my little whatever it is, looks like pasta. Okay, so I could easily put another building as if it's behind here, like so. So you could build this up to a real 3D if you wished, and if I did that I would definitely pop these onto card and then lift them up so they're more substantial. Ah, okay, well maybe maybe I'll convert you, Carol. So this is I think this is how we're going to go with the what's it shop there and this one there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my use like I did yesterday. I'm going to use my blending brush. Let's get this one here to blend the sky and add the foliage, and then position my elements rather than position them and then try and fill in around it, because obviously the sky is, you know, going to sit behind the whole thing. So I have a blue brush, it's got probably got enough on there. So as usual, I'm coming in on the right hand side, I'm right handed, and I'm coming in with a circular motion from the right, like that. And most of the time, if you're using the blending brushes fairly consistently, you probably find that you will have enough ink on there. Obviously mine get used probably every week, one way and another. Am I going to Crowton? No, I'm not actually, but I may pop in because I'm literally 5 minutes away. Oh yes, I know you are, Carol, so hopefully I'll get to meet you in person. So there's our bit of sky that's going to sit behind our buildings. Right, if I just lift it up so you can see it. Hopefully you can see that. Always looks paler on the screen. And so what I want to see is that I've got enough sky behind my building. And remember, the sky does come all the way down to the ground. I remember Tara in my team, who was a primary school teacher, telling me that the sky doesn't just stop at the top. So I'm going to bring that colour down, and I can go a little bit darker behind here. And if you wanted to add some clouds, you could just do a little bit of masking. You could just take a piece of card or paper. I have got some odd bits here, so you could utilize that as well. So again, I haven't added any ink. Alright, so you can see that. Adding that little bit. Difficult to know how much of that comes out for you. I can see it, but it doesn't always translate. And you could add a sun in there, you could add a moon in there, as you know we did with our scenes relatively recently as well. Ones we did last week had those. So like that will do. And then I want to put some in here. Don't need to put it all the way around. Let's add a little bit more ink though now. So I've got Balmy Blue, that's my go-to sky colour. And I like it in particular because you can build it up. And because it's quite light, I move my hand right down to the end of this handle to the brush to give it more pressure. So just putting this in here because I know roughly that's going to be where the buildings are. Oh, half on the bottom, that's a good idea. But I also, you probably do too, Cal, keep the brushes for the same colour. So I this one's not labelled because it's a duplicate, but I label them up: blue, green, red, pink, brown, grey, orange. And then I don't clean them in between. I just keep them. So now you can see I've got the sky behind, so we've got less of that white space showing. That one's going to sit there. That little architect here building a little place. Perfect. So I'm going to add some foliage in, coming in from the top, and I'm going to stamp something on either side. So I might put the frame and the flower pot, or I could do two flower pots quite close in here. So I'm going to stamp the foliage, and then I'm going to put these two down and then just rearrange the rest. So I'm just going to add a little bit more. Yes, I love blending too, but I think a lot of people are sort of frightened of it. And often it's just, like many things, it's just practice. It really is. Okay, right, let's add our foliage. And I've got my variegated ink pad to give me some different elements of green, and I've got two different ones that I use for overhead foliage that comes down. I've got this one here from Botanical Layers that I use upside down, and the same with this one. I'll show you the two. This one has got those there with the definitive leaves, and then this one here uses that other one. I just think it's really delicate, and you could put colours on there as well to make it look prettier if you want. So I'm going to grab this one again and put a block to hand. And what I can do is position this here and make a little pencil mark. Oops. Just going to bring it down a little bit. So I know that's the edge of that building, and then I've got, I think I'm going to have the flower shop. The clothes shop, sorry. I think that's what I said I was going to use. There. and just by bringing that down, I know that when I put these back again, I will cover up my pencil mark, or you can just obviously rub it out with a rubber. So the reason I love this one is because the elements are quite separate, so it makes it really easy to use, like that. Then you can stamp this one, like so, and then I am going to add a little bit in garden green. Yes, garden green. Yes, exactly. It looks like trees. It's just good to frame it as much as anything, Carol. But obviously just use whatever foliage you have, and you can use a mixture as well. The other thing we did this morning was use a winter tree to make grass across the bottom. Okay, let's have a look and see. I'm just going to keep these open for a minute. Might be a bit of a mistake. Right, so I've got this one here, and then I've got my clothes shop, if that's going to go on there, and my whatever this is, food shop, pasta shop here. So you can see that little line of the sky. If I bring it up, hopefully you can see that. Just gives it a little bit more interest. I don't even know if you can see it online. You might be able to see it in the photograph later. Okay, so got that one and that one, and I can stamp these so that this comes over if I want to as well. Right, so let's stick these down first. Just going to straighten that bottom bit, but I was very pleased with the cutting blade. It was good. Happy with that, but you do definitely need a mat underneath. I think that's probably quite straight. Okay, so I'm going to stick these down. Might add just a little bit more definition here. Like that. Just to frame it. Yeah. Okay, let's pop these on. So you can just have some great fun with these, and I've got so many ideas from this, and I thought, oh, this might be a sort of, you know, do 2 things with it and you're done. But the fact that I've only had coffee and cards for 3 days, and I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards is a good indicator it's a good set. Right, I'm just using for speed my seal. Oops, a daisy. Don't drop it when it's covered in sticky. Now I could have this a little bit higher and add some ground, but I think I'm just going to stick with it like this for the minute. Only because it's Tuesday evening and you've got better things to do than watch me fiddle around for a little time. Okay, so this is going in on that right hand edge. It's covered up that pencil line, like so. So I've got my left and my right, and I've got this piece here. It's going to go in the middle, and let's grab the stamp set. So this is it here. So you can see me use this in more detail. Yesterday I didn't stamp everything out. No, I didn't stamp everything out, which is unlike me. So you've got the main building, and then you can add this up however many stories you want. You've got books, you've got bakery items, and you've got cafe, and then you've got assorted sentiments that go with it. You've got lights and a little banner. So I'm going to stamp probably the pot on either side. I could cut out the one from the papers, but I want to do a little bit of stamping. And what I'm going to do is colour it. This is Calypso Coral and a bit of Flirty Flamingo. So I'm going to stamp one there and one there. Find a small block. And I'm just going to use probably espresso, as we've got some pecan pie here. But see what I find first. So for those of you who know me, espresso is my go-to for stamping, but I have added Pebbled Path to my favourites list because it's a good alternative. I very rarely use black if you watch me. There's very little black in nature. Okay, so I'm happy that that's going to go roughly there. Could make it more central. So I'm just going to pop one here, like so. One on the left. Now I could stamp these and actually die cut them out if I wanted to. There we go. It's going to sit there. Okay, so let's colour those in and then mount this all up, and we're done. So I'm going to use our blends brushes, and I'm pretty sure I have got, what have I got here? Cajun Craze, which is a good terracotta substitute. And sorry, I've got all my pens ready. Let's have a look. It's another Cajun Craze. Light and dark, and then I've got Flirty Flamingo up on my stand if I need it. So let's have a look. I'm just going to use this one here and see what colour that looks like. Next to that, it's quite a little bit darker, isn't it? Right. Look. So this is Calypso Coral. Yes, that's better. So this is dark. You see it's much closer to that. It's more orangey. So I'm just going to bring this in from the left with the dark, like so. And a bit on the right. Hi Monica. It says you've joined us, but I can never be sure if that's just because you're in passing or whether you're watching. So if you are watching, hi and welcome. This is light Calypso Coral. It's I'm going to use that in the centre, just blend that together. Like so. Just going over the join, and sometimes it needs a couple of goes to blend it in properly. Okay, so this is our shot that's going to go in there, and then I want some greenery on here, so I think I'm going to use, let's have a look, Granny Apple Green. On here. And then you could add some colour in for some flowers if you wished. Either straight on top, or you could leave some little gaps. I'm going to try it. Some gaps. I'm trying to work out. Is this more of a blue? I was thinking, is it sort of purple? So I'm going to try light Calypso Coral in here. And then just go over with the green in the gaps. So. There we are. Okay, so that panel is going to go into the middle, and now I've got my little row of shops. Cute! Okay, so the question is, am I going to mount this onto a piece of card? And I think I am, but I'm just going to cheat and put a piece of card in that centre panel. I think I've got an odd piece, literally an odd piece here. Like so. I could do with it being a little bit wider. Let's grab one of my odd pieces here, just to give it a little bit of strength, and then I can 3D it. So I'm not going to measure it, I'm just going to mark it like that and cut it. So just going to pop that on my trimmer, trim up from there, across from there. I'm looking forward to our craft day at the weekend for those that are joining me. Really good, oops, good fun. What's that? So my job over the next few days is to prep all of the packets. I've had all of my deliveries, I just need to prep everything. Okay, so I'm going to pop this up on dimensionals for a little bit of interest, and we're done. Hi Babsy. I'm sure that's 2 days in a row I've caught you, or you've caught me. Let's add a few more dimensionals. As I say, you could easily either stamp and die cut, or you could fussy cut round the pots, but using the knife, craft knife, is definitely much quicker than the scissors if you've got a steady hand, and I appreciate that's not for everybody. Okay, so this is going to go in between, like so. And not putting any pressure on it, just letting it drop down. And there we go. How cute is that? So I just need to find a background layer and then a card, and I'm thinking Calypso Coral. So to save me looking, I'm just going to cut this one down. Let's have a look and see. Calypso and then on to white, or I could reverse it. White and then on to Calypso. I'll find the white cards. I have them out ready. That's right. There we go. So I can do that combination, Calypso and then the white. Let's take that away, like so. Or I can do white onto Calypso, which I think I'm favouring. I don't know if anybody else has any other suggestions. I don't really want to add in any other, I don't want to introduce any other colours. I think that's going to be my preferred option. Like that and that. Yeah. Okay, so that's thick white card. I don't need that. Just going to choose a piece of basic white thin. And we're good to go. So sentiment wise, I'm going to leave the sentiment off. I might put one inside that says let's get together. That's one of the sentiments there. Or I could turn it obviously into a birthday card later. So I'm just going to cut this down. So this is going to be 10 by 14.35. There we go. This is my A5 card. That's 10.5 by 14.85. That's the measurements that I like to use. And then that's going to go on there. And I think that makes the sky stand out better than going straight onto the Calypso. So let's layer those up, and we're done. I'm going to use wet glue for that. Not sure how much I've got left in here. Oh, enough. There we go. So as I said, we've had great fun, and I've got lots of different ideas as well. So. But you can never tell. Sometimes you get a feel for a stamp set, and you think, oh, it's going to have loads of ideas, and it doesn't amount to much. And I couldn't tell you why that is, but sometimes it just happens like that. And then other times I have stamp sets I think, oh, this could be a, short and sweet, and you can't stop making with them. So I'm looking for a block. That's my phone telling me it's running out of charge. That's better. So that's going to go onto there. And we're done. Now what I can do is I've got some of those edge chops I can use to pop on a piece of card on the inside, or I could stamp one. But these papers are great and perfect for coffee and card because you've got so many different buildings on there. There's enough for everybody to have a go. So we've got our sky background that we've shaded with a blending brush. We've got our foliage coming down from the top to frame it as if it's got trees behind it. And then we've got the pots, and then we pop the little shop up on dimensionals. And so for the inside, I'm just going to grab that other piece and pop an offcut on the inside. So, thank you so much for joining me this evening. I will be back tomorrow, Wednesday at 10 AM, and I'm going to do a little bit more work with the dies tomorrow. There's that other little shop we had that was partly cut. Got this one here, a little whatever it is, food shop, and I could use this one, or maybe just a little sign on the right hand side. So let's just cut this out quickly with my new cutting knife. As I say, you could definitely use a ruler with this. But it's much quicker than scissors. Well, it is in my case. I guess if you're a good fussy cutter, you probably don't need to worry about it. Thank you, Carol. So, just going to use these up, why not? That one there, and then I'll put a sentiment in nearer the time. What I might actually do is cut that odd little bit off there where the door is. And this is where having a T-square is really good. Although I'm not sure my ruler will hold it down. Let's just grab this one. There we go. So yeah, really pleased with that. And as I say, it's standard blades that you can get for any craft knife. Well, not any craft knife, a standard craft knife. And it does have a top to keep it secure and safe. You don't want to find that at the bottom of your bag. So that one's going to go onto there. That one's going to go onto there. And then later on, I'll stamp my sentiment. I might add a pot on either side, just because I'm likely to get carried away. This is the right size now. Thank you, Monica. So if you haven't seen the other ones, I'll show you all those. And I have released my class in a box for July, so if you missed that, there's a video and an email with all the links and videos on here on my Facebook page, but if you are on my email list, you'll have got a copy of that anyway. And booking for that closes on Sunday. Okay, so that's that one there on the right. And I haven't bothered with the sky or anything to the inside. That's Cassie requesting to go out. Put this one here. There we go. As I say, I might stamp a little pot either side or put the A-frame on just to finish it off. So there we are, there's our finished card. So I hope you like it. So this is done with the papers, and I've used the stamp for these two pots, but these pots appear on the papers. So apart from stamping the foliage at the top, you could recreate this card completely with the papers. And just to show you some of the others, I've got this one here that uses the I've used the dies for the lampposts. Sweet. Hi Carol, thanks for joining us. This was one I did just joining those elements up together. And then we've got this one here, which is the bakery. I've got my 3 levels of my cafe. Again with my little, I've just cut the A-frame out and put it on the front on dimensionals. And then this one here, a bakery, and that's got the let's get together. So I hope you like it. The papers are available. They are £11.75 here in the UK, and you get 12 sheets. Just find the one that I've just created. There it is. You get 12 sheets, so you get 2 of each sheet that I've shown you earlier. Some great patterns on the back as well, but great fun. And if you've got somebody who likes a bit of shopping, you could just buy the papers. If you don't think you'd use the stamps, just buy the papers and cut some of those up. Have a bit of fun. So thank you so much for joining me. Thanks Carol, and hi Carol from the USA. So looking forward to meeting you and spending time with you in August. So I'm getting to meet Carol over in Las Vegas on a Stampin' Up event. So I'm looking forward to that. And that's it for tonight. So I did use the papers. I tried out the new cutting blade for my Take Your Pick tool, which I'm really pleased with, I have to say. It's because it's got a nice sturdy handle. Quite often craft knives have quite a thin handle, and so you've got a bit more grip, and it's a sort of soft grip, so definitely recommend that. But you do need a mat or something to cut it onto, otherwise you'll cut through your best table. Thank you so much everybody. I hope you're able to join me tomorrow. UK here it'll be 10 AM, and I'm going to do some work with the dies, and I've got a couple of ideas as well, so I'm hoping that I'll be able to get all of those ideas done during the week. So this is our stamp set of the week. Remember, if you buy the stamp set or the bundle, I'll send you all the components for the cards that I make during our Facebook lives, so that you can recreate those at home, and that would include these elements of the papers anyway. Oh, bless you, Carol. So thank you all. Have a great evening for us here, and afternoon for you, Carol, and I look forward to crafting with you all really soon. Thank you so much. Any questions or queries, don't hesitate to pop them in the comments section, whether it's here on Facebook or if you're watching on replay on YouTube. Thank you so much. Do take care, and bye for now.